Hey guys, before this video begins, I would just like to say, please never apologize for writing a comment like this. It shows how much you guys are actually thinking about this topic. But if you really want to talk more, then please head over to my Discord where we can talk, where I can see your comments a lot easier and you can communicate with your other fans of the series. You can also check out all of my other links also down in the description, because that also helps me and lets me know what other things you guys want to see. But anyways, let's get straight into the video where we're going to continue the topic from Why Mari Are You an Idiot? Hey guys, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to continue the topic. So, that comment that I just mentioned actually kind of helped me to clear things up. I didn't make it clear exactly what I was trying to say in that video. I'm not saying that Mari Chat needs to happen as a relationship. What I was saying is that in that episode, I was trying to say that after the reveal, which would happen after Kagami and Luca are dating Adrian and Marinette respectively, the reveal would happen at the end of Season 3, and then in Season 4, we would have a bit of Mari Chat, but not in the same way. It would be as friends, just discussing things like, hey, we're superheroes, stuff like that. Adrian going over to Marinette's house because she's his friend and he feels kind of responsible for certain things. Basically, all this would be is it would be a short time throughout Season 4, maybe a few episodes here and there within Season 4, not every episode, but maybe every other episode, where Adrian goes over, Cat Noir goes over to Marinette's place, and they just talk about their relationships, and they talk about how things like this have, the whole reveal has caused issues. So they're talking and becoming closer friends through that. And through that, they would actually find out that all of the traits that they had previously seen in the person that they loved, for Adrian, obviously Ladybug, and for Marinette, it was Adrian. So, by doing this, it allows them to see the part of the other person that they didn't quite realize that they had feelings for. They see the little bits and pieces that have always been there, but now, because of the fact that they're no longer blinded by the fact that they are deeply in love with this person, because now they're in a relationship, yeah, they'll still see a little bit of the love that they had for that person, but it will be a little bit less and a little bit more better, I guess would be the right word. And eventually, after some point in Season 5, they would break off their relationships with Luca and Kagami, and they would start getting into an actual relationship that is built off of the fact that they are both friends and partners, and how much they actually love each other, and how much they've loved each other for a long time. And it'll help them grow, which, let's be honest, seeing character growth is important, especially around this time. But I think it's important that, I've said this before, that I think it's important that throughout Season 4, and a bit of Season 5 even, they refuse to give Luca and Kagami the Miraculous that they use, because of the fact that they aren't ready to give, psychologically, they aren't ready to give up. For Marinette, she's not ready to give up Adrian, so she doesn't want to say, here's the Miraculous, Kagami, Now you can protect Adrian. Now I trust you more than I used to. I don't necessarily want them to reveal their identities to these people, to Kagami and Luca, but rather I would like to see them give their Miraculous to the other person as a sign of saying to themselves that, yeah, I trust you, and they're actually giving up the other person, they're giving Luca and Kagami uh, permission to date Marinette and Adrian, respectively. But at the same time, they are also both realizing that the two relationships they're in, aren't actually working. And they find out that, yeah, they really do care about each other. Breaking off the relationships and continuing on. And that would be what I think would be the best way to actually use the whole love square that we have going on now. The new love square. So, we'll see what happens. I think that it could actually work, but we'll see what happens. I think that it will take a little bit longer for Kagami and Luca to get into their relationship than it will for Marinette and Adrian to get into their relationship. But we'll see what happens. Season 4 and 5 will have that going on. And then, by the end of season, the thing is that throughout season 5, and season 4, they're actually going to be gathering up the remaining teammates. They'll be training them, they'll be getting them ready, they'll be showing them, hey, yeah, here you go. It's time for you to become full-time superheroes and help us to finally take down Hawkmoth. Season 5 will actually be them taking down Hawkmoth by the end of it, which will leave some space so that even though they might get into the relationship somewhere at the beginning of season 5, because of the fact that they're also dealing with the fact that they're defeating Hawkmoth, they won't actually have time to deal with the fact that, hey, now they're in a relationship, they have other issues to deal with that are relationship-wise, which we can then decrease the stress by in season 6, well, at the end of season 5, Hawkmoth akumatizes one last person as basically a last-ditch effort to one day get his Miraculous back. Obviously, some things aren't gonna go smoothly. We'll see exactly what happens. I've said before different ways that I want this to happen, and I'll go into actual details when we get closer to that point. But basically, he will akumatize Monsieur Drat, who, as he gets akumatized right near the end of when Hawkmoth akumatizes, when Hawkmoth loses and he's just like setting out an Akuma as a last-ditch effort, the Akuma gets away from Marinette, and she thinks that because of the fact that they've defeated Hawkmoth and she's used her Ladybug, it has gotten rid of the Akuma, but it hasn't, because, yeah. And the Akuma flies off to Mr. Rat, who, because of the fact that he hasn't actually been given any orders by Hawkmoth, he just becomes Monsieur Rat. And vanishes off, and we might have like a time skip between maybe a time skip. I kind of doubt that. But basically what would happen is that the Akuma goes into him, and he starts to work on becoming a Rat King. Like I said in the previous episode, I don't want to get into too much detail about what that is, But I guess that since this is a more important topic, I should actually mention what it is. So, a rat king is a mythological creature that is basically a whole bunch of rats that got, well, it has actually happened in real life, but it's not to the same extent. It basically, all of these rats get merged into one being. In real life, it's just like a tangle. Their tails are just tangled up, and they kind of have to work together. It's not to the same extent of, oh yeah, they are now kings of rats. And they could actually do that with Monsieur Rat to actually have him become just the embodiment of what a rat king would be in mythological setting. He can still command the rats and stuff like that, and they're all merged into one brain. Because it's basically a hive mind in the way that it works in mythological stuff. So they work together. So he becomes the new villain, but it's kind of a less interesting thing. Like, for some reason, rats are starting to show up that are biting onto people and giving them superpowers. That's kind of what I'm imagining they're going to do. They're going to go in that direction, and it's just like unclear what the heck is going on. So they just think, oh, it's just some weird bug going on. It's not a huge deal. We'll fight the supervillains, but we'll let the people of Paris actually deal with the sewer people deal with their job and actually take care of it. So basically, what we get is a lot more stuff with Marinette and Adrian's relationship, and they become better people. They see things about themselves that they continue to work on. They develop their relationship. They become more and more. We can have little bits and pieces where Monsieur Rat starts to show up, and then they realize, oh, yeah, this is actually something that we need to take care of because we're superheroes. And we need to stop worrying so much about our relationship and focus on this. And it's kind of an important thing because by having them be in a relationship after they've defeated Hawkmoth, the thing is, I'm fine with them starting their relationship before they defeat Hawkmoth. Let me be clear on that. But by having it be something where they defeat Hawkmoth and now there's someone new showing up, but they don't realize it. I said Mr. Rat first, but that's not necessarily 100% going to happen. They reveal this identity, and it becomes better. Basically, all of these main characters start to develop their relationships with each other, specifically Marinette and Adrian. And they realize the importance of being both superheroes and being in a relationship. They still need to keep their identity secret from everyone else, including their parents, who may or may not know now. It's very possible that Emily knows and that Hawkmoth knows, but a lot of other people may not know. Like, Marinette's parents might not know. All of their friends won't know. So it's definitely an interesting theory to go with. And we could start to see them after they deal with Monsieur Rat in probably season 7 is my best guess, is that they, maybe further, but once they've defeated Monsieur Rat, they do something along the lines of, we can't do anything. Not necessarily that they can't do anything at all, but they can't be distracting themselves with other things. They're fine with being in their relationship. They think that will be fine. But because of the fact that by them being in school, it actually causes them a bit more trouble because of the fact that every moment of every day, because of the fact that they are both superheroes and students, it actually means that they are more likely to, whoops, there's the reveal. Now we're in trouble. We need to keep our identity secret and we need to leave the school. It's I'm trying to think of a show that does this well. There have been shows. I guess probably the best way of looking at it is thinking of Harry Potter. For those of you guys who don't know, Harry Potter 7, actually, Harry and Hermione and Ron don't go to school because of the fact that there are issues. And it's kind of the same concept that I'm thinking of going with for this, except that instead of it being just because of the fact that they will die if they go to school, it's we need to protect our identities and we need to protect our loved ones. So they allow. So what they do is that they entrust their friends, some of them, with knowing that they are Ladybug and Cat Noir, and they also entrust their parents so that they can say that they're being homeschooled, but in actuality they're trying to keep their identities hidden by becoming heroes that basically work on their own. It would be an easier task to accomplish in Japan, I think, because of the fact that they are in middle school right now. For those of you, I don't know how exactly it works in France, but in Japan, some students, not all, in fact, it's actually a much smaller amount than I'm going to be letting on, I'm sure. I don't know the exact details, but some students, instead of going into high school, the same type of high school, they go into the workforce. Specifically, students that are bad at school and stuff, they'll start going into the workforce and they'll get into a lesser high school that basically just teaches them the important things that they need to know for their specific jobs, but in actuality, their main thing at this time is to work. So it's a weird concept, but that I don't completely understand. So don't take my word for it, and I don't know how France operates. But if they could do something like that in Miraculous, that would actually help a lot. Where they basically say, yeah, we went into the workforce, we went to do work instead of being students. Adrian is dealing with the money issues that he has now inherited because of the fact that his father is now gone, and Emily is not really 100% certain on what she wants to do now. So he has to deal with that whole situation. But we'll see exactly what happens. I think this whole video is kind of hard to grasp. Not necessarily that it's the most challenging thing ever. It's just that because of the way that things work, it's something that we could actually just think about. The reason that I even bring up this topic of them giving up everything is because of the events of Gamer 2.0. Because she was starting to think about that it might be time to give up their tasks as the other things, give up school and stuff like that and become full-time heroes, which I don't think that they're going to do right away. I do not think that that's going to happen in at the end of season 5. No, I think that it could happen after they deal with Monsieur Rat, or maybe some other villain. Basically, they have a villain that they have to deal with, and a new villain that they have to deal with, and they decide, oh yeah, we should deal with this instead of focusing so much on school. We should focus on taking care of villains, because that's our job now. It is our without Master Fu, we have to pick up the slack. We can't just sit around in school all day doing this when there's villains out there. There's an alien invasion going on right now. We can't we're going to school because we're supposed to. We're in the middle of an alien invasion, and we're going to school. Or maybe not necessarily that. We're in a crisis that most people think, oh, yeah, Ladybug and Cat Noir will save us, so we're just going to continue on with our lives. But they cannot do that, because they are Cat Noir and Ladybug. They need to go off and deal with this, so they decide together that it's time to drop everything else and become Ladybug and Cat Noir full-time. It would make more sense in a few different things, like the invaders, dealing with Monsieur Rat, if my theory on him is correct, on what his powers are. Dr. Sadness, dealing with that. And once and because of the fact that they're going to be adults soon, they're not good. The new Hawkmoth won't be until they're adults. Things will be different, but we'll see exactly what happens. Anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of this theory. If you want to see more stuff, then please leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe, and ring that notification bell, because that all tells me that you guys are interested. And also, don't forget to check out all of my links down in the description, like I mentioned before. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-done!